All right, ready to dive in today. We're tackling hydrographic surveying. You've been sending over some really interesting stuff about it, this career guide, the interview guide, really cool. So let's unpack it all. Our expert's here to help us figure out how to nail those job interviews right.
It's a field that's, often behind the scenes, but so important. We're talking safe navigation, ocean exploration, all that. So yeah, let's dive into these interview questions and see how to really make your passions stand out.
Okay, perfect. So first up from this interview guide you gave us is a classic. What inspired you to pursue a career as a hydrographic surveyor? Seems straightforward, but I'm guessing they want more than just, like, I love the water.
Exactly. It's got to be deeper than that. This is your moment to show them what really clicks for you. Was it a documentary, maybe about underwater discoveries, or the tech side, sonar and all that? Maybe even a childhood thing, wanting to chart unknown waters.
It's about making it personal, linking your story to the career path. Speaking of stories, there's another question here. Can you describe a challenging project you've worked on as a hydrographic surveyor? It feels like they're looking for how you handle the tough stuff.
Definitely. Interviewers, they eat that up.
Mm.
Have you ever had, like, crazy weather during a survey, equipment acting up, maybe visibility was terrible and you had to adjust on the fly? Pick something that shows you can adapt and you're resilient.
This is where having that career guide as a refresher is super useful. It's got all those details about the projects, the tech, the everyday challenges.
For sure, knowing your stuff, like about multi-beam sonar in shallow water or how vital precise GPS is, that makes your story stronger, shows you've done your homework.
And you know what else helps craft a really strong answer? RoleCatcher. Their AI is amazing. It can look at what you've written, suggest improvements, even make the wording better. It's like having a writing coach right there with you.
It's a game changer, honestly. RoleCatcher can analyze job descriptions, give you tailored feedback, make sure you're highlighting what matters most for each job. Powerful stuff.
Okay, next question up, and this one feels so key for this field. How do you ensure accuracy and precision in your hydrographic surveys? I mean, attention to detail has got to be huge here.
It's everything. Think about it. If the data's off, it has a ripple effect. Navigation, construction, even the environment. So when you answer, you want to show you understand those quality control processes. Data cross-checking, using multiple sonar beams, repeat surveys, all that good stuff.
Makes sense. And the career guide even gets into specific software and tools for quality control, yeah.
Yep, it's all there. Even if you haven't used them on the job yet, being familiar with HYPAC or Keras shows commitment. You can even talk about online courses or resources you've used to learn them.
Going the extra mile. Love it. Now, shifting gears to something that's important in any job. How do you manage multiple projects and deadlines as a hydrographic surveyor? Being organized has to be up there.
You got it. Nobody wants to hear you crumble under pressure. Use the STAR method for this one situation. Task, action, result. Lay it out clearly. Describe a time you juggled multiple deadlines, maybe during a research project.
And get specific, right? What tools did you use? Project plans, time management apps, prioritizing like crazy.
All of it. And hey, don't forget RoleCatcher. Their AI can even help you tweak your resume to highlight those project management skills. It's like having a resume expert who gets what hiring managers are looking for.
It's like having a whole team in your corner.
Mm.
Okay, let's tackle a question that trips a lot of people up. Can you describe a time when you had to communicate technical information to a non-technical audience?
That's going to come up a lot in hydrographic surveying.
Oh, big time. It's about taking something complex and making it clear. Think of a time you had to explain, I don't know, sonar data, but to someone who's not a surveyor. Did you present to a community group? Or maybe a client who needed things broken down simply?
I bet using visuals helps a ton in those situations, like showing them a map or a diagram. Totally. Visuals are key. Did you use any analogies, metaphors, anything to make it click? And did you check if they were following along, adjust how you were explaining based on that?
Those little details make a difference. And hey, guess what can help you polish those storytelling skills even further? RoleCatcher's AI feedback. It'll analyze how you're explaining things and suggest ways to make it even clearer, more impactful.
It's true. It's like having a communication coach on call 24/7. And the cool part is RoleCatcher tailors its feedback to the specific job you're going for. You'll be speaking their language.
Okay, next question. This one's all about staying current. How do you stay up to date with the latest technology and techniques in hydrographic surveying? Makes sense. Things are always changing in tech fields.
Constantly. We've got autonomous underwater vehicles, sonar systems getting ridiculously advanced. It never stops. They want to know you're hungry to learn, to be at the cutting edge.
So what are some things people could talk about in the interview, how they're already doing that?
Think about the resources you use. Do you go to conferences,
Right.
webinars? Are you reading journals like Hydro International? Maybe following the big organizations online, like the International Hydrographic Organization.
All great examples. Oh, and what about online courses? There are tons of those for hydrographic surveying, right?
Do you know it? Online learning is huge. You can level up your software skills, learn new data analysis techniques. It's all there.
Like having a whole hydrographic library at your fingertips. Okay, shifting gears to a crucial topic. How do you ensure safety during hydrographic surveys? It can be a risky job, so this is big.
No doubt. And when you answer, don't just list off basic safety stuff. They're looking for more than, I always wear a life jacket. They want to see you're proactive about safety.
So what are some things people could mention?
Talk about specific things you've done, like before a survey, do you do a thorough risk assessment? Do you meticulously check all the equipment for anything that looks off? Maybe you always have a buddy system in the field.
Knowing those emergency protocols inside and out, that's got to be key too.
100%. And if you've ever spotted a potential hazard and actually did something to fix it, tell that story. It shows you're not just following rules, you're actively thinking about safety.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, on to a question that's about more than just the technical skills.
Mm-hmm.
How do you ensure that your surveys comply with relevant regulations and standards? Accuracy is one thing, but you got to follow the rules too.
Exactly. It's a highly regulated field, and for good reason. Inaccurate data has huge consequences, from navigation to the environment.
So what are some of the big organizations or regulations people should know about?
Well, the International Hydrographic Organization, the IHO, they're huge. They set standards globally. And then depending on where you're working, there might be local or national bodies and rules to know.
Right, of course. And I bet that career guide you sent over probably has a section on certifications, doesn't it?
It does. Getting certified, like becoming a certified hydrographer, a CH, or a certified hydrographic surveyor, a CHS,
Yeah.
that shows real commitment to the profession, makes you stand out.
It's like a stamp of approval on your expertise. Okay, another question that goes beyond just the technical. Can you describe a time when you had to lead a hydrographic survey team? Teamwork is so important in any field, but especially in something like this, I'd imagine.
Oh, absolutely. You're often working with a whole mix of people, surveyors, data analysts, maybe even engineers and marine biologists, all on one project.
So even if someone hasn't had a formal leadership title, they can still show they know how to lead, right?
100%. Think about times you stepped up. Maybe you mentored someone new to the team or helped coordinate everyone to hit a crazy deadline. Maybe you were the one who kept communication flowing between different groups.
It's about those everyday leadership moments, proving you can rally the troops, so to speak.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about RoleCatcher? Their AI can even help you shape those answers to really showcase those leadership qualities.
It's like having a career coach, a resume writer, and a leadership guru all rolled into one.
All right, let's tackle a question that can be a little tricky. Can you describe a time when you had to deal with a difficult client or stakeholder? Diplomacy skills time.
It's inevitable, right? You're dealing with people who have a stake in what you're doing. Sometimes things get a little tense.
So it's not just about the data. It's about managing expectations, resolving conflicts smoothly, all that good stuff.
Exactly. Think back to a time when things got a little tricky. Did you have to present findings that weren't what the client wanted to hear? Maybe there were concerns about the environmental impact of a project and you had to address those?
Those are great examples. And again, I bet RoleCatcher's AI feedback would be super useful in figuring out how to answer those types of questions, making sure you sound diplomatic, solutions-oriented, all that.
Totally. It's a fine line, you know. You've got to be assertive, but also empathetic. Show them you can stand your ground, but still keep those relationships strong. It's a skill, for sure. Okay, ready for the last question in our interview prep deep dive.
Ready. Okay, so this one looks ahead. Where do you see the field of hydrographic surveying heading in the next 5-10 years?
Ooh, interesting. It's about more than just what you know now. It's about having a vision for the future.
Exactly. They want to see you thinking long-term, not just looking for a job, but a whole career. Have you been reading about those autonomous underwater vehicles, or how satellite-derived bathymetry is becoming a bigger deal? Share those insights. Show them you're paying attention to where things are headed.
Connecting those dots between what's happening now and what's next. And this is probably another spot where that career guide you shared comes in handy, right?
Totally. It does a great job laying out the big picture, the areas that are growing, the challenges on the horizon. Weaving that into your answer, it shows you've really thought about your place in all of it.
Proving you're not just along for the ride, you're grabbing the wheel and steering. And speaking of steering your career in the right direction, that's where RoleCatcher comes in again. Their AI can look at those job descriptions, help you fine-tune your answers to match what each company is looking for.
Like having a personal career strategist in your back pocket, making sure you're positioned for success. Because it's a field with huge potential, it's always evolving.
Love that analogy. So there you have it. We've gone deep on how to rock those hydrographic surveying interviews. We covered some tough questions, talked about why being prepared is so key, and even explored how AI can give you that extra edge.
Don't forget, showing your passion for this field, highlighting what you're good at, and being able to think on your feet and adapt. That's what makes you stand out.
And with tools like RoleCatcher in your toolkit, you can walk into those interviews with confidence, ready to map out an amazing career exploring the coolest parts of our planet.
It's a field brimming with possibilities. With the right prep and that thirst for discovery, you can really make a splash in the world of hydrographic surveying.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And for all our listeners out there, ready to take the plunge, one last thing to ponder. As tech keeps shaking things up, what new horizons in hydrographic surveying are you most excited to explore? Until next time, happy diving.